I'm going to read a short extract from my comic novel called Utter Folly. It's about someone called James. Everyone thinks James is a very nice young man, especially if they want to borrow some money. James is 23, and not long ago he met a guy called Oliver through his work in the city. Oliver is about James's age, but he's pretty upper class. And when he invites James to come and spend a weekend at his family home in the country, James is very excited, but also rather nervous. This is what happens when he arrives. Turning one of the round brass doorknobs, James opened the door and stepped inside. The sunlight from behind him illuminated a short stretch of tiled hallway and made the gloom beyond it all the more impenetrable. James could just about see the foot of a staircase a few yards ahead of him and doors on either side of the hall. "Hello?" James said. "Who's that?" replied a startlingly close voice from the shadows to the left of the staircase. He heard the approaching click of high heels on the tiles, and a figure emerged from the darkness. "It's only me," James said, his voice sounding thin and reedy in his ears. "James, you know." A large, stately-looking woman sailed into the patch of sunlight. She had the air of someone who was emerged from an expensive hairdresser's within the last few moments. Her face was attractive in a confident, English way, and although it was comfortably plump, a certain sharpness about the nose and eyes reminded James of Oliver. "James?" she said. "James?" and began to walk, not towards him, but to one side of him in a slow, circling movement which James found disturbing. As soon as he realised that she could see him only in silhouette and was attempting to look at his face, he cooperated by shuffling around so that they were both in the light. She considered him thoughtfully. "James who?" "James Burridge, Oliver's friend." "Of course! How silly!" she cried in a husky drawl. "I do apologise. You must think me frightfully rude. The fact is, I completely forgot you were coming. Do forgive me. How marvellous that you could make it. I'm Daphne Longbourn, Oliver's mother." She produced a dazzling smile that contrived to express both delight at his arrival and amusement at her own stupidity. James was so relieved that he began to chatter uncontrollably. "Oh, I hope you don't mind me just barging in like that, but I tapped on the glass and there was nobody there, so I just came in because I met this old man who was outside, your gardener, I think he is. Anyway, he said to just go in because this is the front now. He's a bit of a cranky old specimen, isn't he? I thought he was rather funny, actually." "Ah, yes," Daphne Longbourn said. "My husband." James unhitched his bag from his shoulder and held it in front of him by the strap, inspecting it with furious concentration. "Ah, yes, right. Finally he raised his eyes. Oliver's mother had resumed her thoughtful look. James lifted the bag as if displaying a prize marlin. "Heavy old thing, this. I'll put it down." He dropped the bag onto the floor. There was a sickening shriek, followed by a ghastly scrabbling, then something erupted from beneath the bag and streaked away into the darkness. Daphne Longbourn raised one eyebrow by a millimetre. "Mind the cat." From somewhere above his head, James heard a creamy young voice. "Mummy, what was that?" Someone came running down the stairs and switched on a light. A girl of about 18 was standing on the bottom step of the staircase. She was tall, about 5'9", and was wearing jeans and a long, loose shirt. She had shoulder-length chestnut hair, a long, straight nose, a wide mouth, large, clear brown eyes, and James was in love.